It's time to create our player. It's going to take us a couple of phases to get the player created, but in this phase, we are going to create an invisible sprite, which is a placeholder for the alien that we'll put into the game later. Make sure you have your USB flash drive connected and make sure you have your step-by-step project guide available. If there's anything you missed in the video, you can always refer to the project guide. In the player, we're going to create the player, assign it a couple of behaviors, set some key properties, and then assign it to the solids family that we created earlier. So let's get started. Let's start with our project guide. Go to the table of contents and find the player. All the steps that we'll be doing in this video are listed right here. Let's go to the desktop, double-click Construct 2. When Construct 2 comes up, go to File, Open, and you want to navigate to your flash drive, Colstock, Game Dev, Model Platformer, and then you're going to double-click on our project file, Model Platformer. At this point, your layout should look something like this. We're going to be creating our player, so we want to go to Layers. We have two layers right now. We have the background and the game. Both of them are locked. We're going to unlock and select the game layer. This is where we're going to put our player. Let's go to the project bar and create our player. We're going to create a new object type, so right-click, insert new object. It's of type sprite, and we're going to give it the name player, capital P. The crosshair should appear, and it should tell you that this object will be placed on the game layer. So click on the layout. We're going to do something a little bit different. You don't have to use graphical images to create object types in Construct 2. You can create your own. So in this top bar, there's an option called Resize. I want you to click on that. We're going to be creating a sprite that is 85 pixels wide and 117 pixels tall. This represents the largest alien frame that we have. Next, we're going to go over to the paint bucket, which should say fill. We're going to give it a custom color. I want you to put in 111 for the red channel, 196 for green, and 169 for blue. Once you have that in, click inside your newly created sprite and it will fill it. Let's configure the collision polygon. This controls collisions. Right click, set to bounding box. It looks like the collision polygon's already what we want, so we're going to move on to setting the origin point. For our player, we're going to set the origin point at the bottom middle. So the X coordinate for that is 43, and the Y coordinate for that is 117, the entire height of the object. Click the red X to close, and you should see a little green box that, at least for now, we're going to call our player. Now we're going to want to assign some behaviors to this player. Behaviors in Construct 2 are so powerful. They give you so much functionality out of the box. To add a behavior to an object, simply right-click it and choose Behaviors. Then, for every behavior that you want to add, click the plus button, find it, and add it. We're going to add the platform behavior under Movements. We're also going to add the Bound to Layout behavior under General. We're also going to add the Scroll To behavior, and that's also under General. Let's go ahead and close that out. Now that we've added these behaviors, you should notice that with the player selected, there are additional properties that have been made available to us under this behaviors tree. So we're going to set a couple of these. We want to refine how the platform behavior functions. So we are going to change the deceleration property. We're going to reduce it to 1200. And we're going to make the player jump a little bit higher, a little faster at 750 for jump strength. There's a lot of other properties you could set, so knock yourself out. The next thing we need to do, last time we created a solids family. This is for anything that has the solids behavior assigned to it. Remember, a solid is like an impassable object. we're going to right click, edit the existing solids family, and we're going to add the player to it and press OK. Let's preview our game to see how we're doing. Once again, you can get to the Run Layout option in the Quick Access toolbar, or you can go to Home, Run Layout. If you use your arrow buttons, you can see just by adding the platform behavior to our little box, we've already got a lot of functionality right out of the box. We can even continue on through our layout to the very end. Notice how I cannot leave the layout. This is because the player has the bound to layout behavior. Also, notice that no matter where I go, the player is at the center of the screen. That is accomplished by the scroll to behavior, which will center the player object no matter where I go. Let's go back to Construct 2. Let's save.